And we're back. Um, just watched Cinderella 2, Dreams Come True. Yeah, it was made for me. No, I didn't know what to expect from this, except for that it was basically meant for little girls to enjoy over and over and over again. And yeah, it was. Okay, first of all, I watched it while I was folding and hanging up laundry, and then just to finish it off, when I got done, I sort of just laid down, and after it was over, I pretty much faded off and took a short nap. And now I'm kind of fuzzy. I should have gotten my head together before I started doing this, but uh, it was actually all right for what it was. I mean, there are times that Disney has phoned in the cash grab on this, but considering that Cinderella came out a good number of decades ago and they only decided to make Cinderella 2 in 2002, they weren't really in a rush. But you can see that the animation reflects the time, even though they still keep all the character styles, Cinderella, fairy godmother, everything else, the mice, everything. They're all very much have the same look you remember, but it's still a very more modern animation style. It's really clean, and like I said, there's sometimes when you see these direct-to-video sequels that they make for other films, other studios, as well as Disney films. They just kind of phone it in and just sort of, it's garbage animation. This was not the case. They for what it was, it's actually really good. It's actually really good for its time. It's not cobbled together. I kind of remember way back seeing like the Aladdin sequels, and by the way, I'm sure I'm going to get to that at some point. Uh, some things just look like they were slapped together, and story wise were not really well structured. But in this case, it's actually not a single story. It's the mice are and the fairy godmother are kind of at the center of a framing sequence that in which they fit three different stories throughout the movie. And yes, I really did watch it, so I didn't read the cliff notes. If that even exists, who would make cliff notes for this kind of thing? Anyway, three different stories where, of course, it's focused on Cinderella, sort of, in some cases. The first one involves her being coming back from her honeymoon and first day in the castle. And first of all, the point is that the fairy godmother liked telling the story. It's basically as if you were coming in from watching the first Cinderella film, as if it was a story that the fairy godmother was telling you. And Jacques and Gus Gus show up a little bit late, and they're like, "Oh, we just missed this story." And she's like, "Well, you can make your own stories. You can tell stories you know." And they're confused by this at first. They decide they're going to make a book in which to put the stories. And really, it's just them doing crude mouse drawings, which, again, mice drawing would be a pretty cool thing to see. But then we cut away to each of the three stories. The first one, like I said, being Cinderella's first day back in the castle, and apparently one of the jobs of a princess is to host a banquet with, absolutely no experience whatsoever, being a scullery maid or whatever, just weeks before. She has a very snooty older woman who's in charge of making sure she's all cultured and dresses the right way and acts the right way and knows how to invite the right people to the right parties and seat them properly. She just wants to bring her friends in, and she just wants to have a good time, open the curtains. She's messing with tradition, and they don't like that. Well, also, they don't seem to notice there's a mouse problem in this giant castle. The mice are everywhere, feet away, just out of frame half the time. The moment that the stuffy lady gets all upset about the curtains being open or Cinderella wearing the wrong dress, she leaves the room and camera pans down, and the mice are like, "Oh, what are we gonna do? We can't live like this." And of course, Cinderella, the rebel she is, she just does what she wants, and everybody's worried about the king. Oh, by the way, the prince had to go away too with Dad. The king and the prince go away. She's left to her own devices, and they come back and they discover, hey, oh, first of all, if the king is really ticked off at how this party goes, I mean, is she ever going to get punished? She's the princess. Is there jail time if you don't put on the right banquet with prunes for dessert or whatever? I don't know. I'm pretty sure I will not make that joke. I will not. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, it's my hand. So anyway, that's the first story. She's a rebel. She does her thing. And by the way, look at the animation back here. It looks like her evil stepmother gets a hold of a wand or something, and the fairy godmother turns to stone. None of that happens. It's not even indicative of the animation style of the film. I don't even know where that comes from. I mean, there's basically, these are just stories that are teaching kids, primarily little girls, how to behave and how to go, and how to react to certain people. I don't know. The second story, it's also dealing with, the main thing is really dealing with being happy with who you are and letting people, no matter what they think of you, just be yourself. That's kind of the thing. Because the second story involves mainly Jacques, the little mouse, wanting to help Cinderella out apparently part of her job is also to be the foreman on a construction crew that handles the setup of a festival, a fair or something. I don't know. He wants to become human, and the fairy godmother grants his wish. Apparently she's everybody's fairy godmother, including mice. Okay. All right. Well, unfortunately, the randomizer sort of reset itself. I did not press any buttons. I'm not cheating. So take a look at this. Here we go. Hold on a second. Okay. We are going to do between 1 and 768. Press the generate button. Number 63. Now that's a really low number. That's got to be in the A's. So A's or P's. I'm sorry for putting my hand over the camera so much. 63 is... Ooh, it looks like it's going to fall under documentaries and unscripted series. 63 is Bizarre Dinosaurs. So I learned about bizarre dinosaurs. Could be fun. Bizarre Dinosaurs tomorrow. Go ahead, look it up on Disney Plus, and we'll meet back up here and you'll hear my thoughts. I can't hear yours, but you can always comment, subscribe, do whatever you like. Try not to be a jerk, but some people can't help themselves, I know. So anyway, see you tomorrow.